right, well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Just making sure y'all are awake. There's nothing like the sound of men singing worship and praise to the Lord. Standing up here up front, it's been cool to hear all your voices sing praise and glory to God. And that's one of the things I'm going to miss from our time together. But speaking of our time together, here we are at the end, the last session. I kind of equate this retreat to more of a high-intensity workout. So if you've been with us through the entire time, you know that, hey, it's been short, but it's been a lot of just wonderful stuff, hasn't it? And so, like Josh mentioned, if you missed some of the sessions, I highly encourage you to grab the notes and at least get them filled in, because there's a lot of great material in every session that we've been.
Chris, I'll just mention, we have voice record. I think you guys did some video, but
yes,
for the audio clips, we'll have those on the sermon section of our website. Where you go to the audio thing, we'll get those uploaded this week. So cool. If you have the blanks, you can go back and listen to the session and fill in the blanks.
Perfect. Yeah, and we'll have that too as Vicenza Bible Church. Thank you, Josh, Luke, Bible Baptist Church, for hosting us, by the way. Before I get into the session, I want to express our gratitude on behalf of Vicenza Bible Church. You guys have been excellent hosts. You've taken care of us really well. And to top it off, we have homemade cookies on top of that. It doesn't get any better than that. So thank you to Chris and John Caldwell for playing and just blessing us and leading us in great, wonderful truths from Scripture sung through the songs. Let's go to the Lord in prayer, and then we're going to get into our last session now. Father, we thank you for this morning, Lord, that we've already been taken to your word to understand what work is, God, and the glory and demonstration of who you are through it. Father, we thank you for the truths bound up there. Now, as we turn from work to culture, God, give us an understanding, give us wisdom from your word on looking out the world around us and knowing our place as Christ-centric men. Father, as we prepare our own hearts to defend, to protect, to fight, to stand firm in truth, evangelizing the culture around us with the gospel and demonstrating the love of Christ to them, Father, we need your wisdom. We know this can only be done in the strength of you, Father. And Lord, thank you that that's been the entire underlying theme, this whole, every seminar, this whole retreat, is the fact that we are in desperate need of you. So Lord, give us strength as we come to this last session. May our minds take in everything we can, and though we may need to reflect, to ponder, God, may we ultimately leave here glorifying you and praising your name. In Christ's name, amen. Well, as we get into it, first I want to get you to imagine something, as much as we can, right? Imagine Scotland in the early 1500s. The air is heavy with incense, with tradition. The cathedrals loom, and the Catholic Church rules essentially every part of life at that point in time. Into this world was born a young man of noble blood by the name of Patrick Hamilton. He was brilliant. He was curious. He was also restless. Patrick went off to study in Paris, and there in Paris he was exposed to the writings of Martin Luther. He was aiming to become a priest, but once he started reading Martin Luther's works, it sparked some thoughts within him. So he went back to Scotland not long after that, and as he arrived, he was a man with a mission. He began to preach openly that people do not need priests in order to stand between them and God. He taught that forgiveness can't be purchased through indulgences. He taught that faith, not ritual, saves the soul of man. And as he did this, the crowds began to whisper, they began to stir. Some listened eagerly. Some were outraged. But the most powerful churchman in Scotland, Archbishop by the name of James Beaton of St. Andrews, he was probably one of the ones that was the most outraged. He took notice of what was taking place, and he set a trap for Patrick Hamilton. He had Patrick Hamilton come and to explain the teachings, and as Patrick Hamilton gladly came, instead, Patrick Beaton had Patrick Hamilton arrested, James Beaton. He had him arrested and just did a quick kangaroo court to say, essentially, hey, you're being tried for treason. These writings you have put forth go against the Roman Catholic Church. The sentence is death, burning by the stake. Patrick Hamilton was only 24 years old when he was dragged to a wooden stake in front of St. Salvator's chapel. Chains bit into his wrists, the crowds gathered, the fire was lit, but something went wrong. The damp wood burned slowly. What should have been a quick and terrible death stretched into 6 long hours of Patrick Hamilton's suffering. By the time the fire died down, Patrick Hamilton was gone. He was with his Savior. But not his message. His message remained. People left shaken. They whispered his words, and they remembered his courage. Soon after that, reformist ideas spread faster than ever within Scotland. As one witness would actually write, he said, the ash of Patrick Hamilton infected all it blew upon. In death, he became the spark that helped ignite the Scottish Reformation. Now, that culture at that point was dominated by Roman Catholicism. The idols of the time were evident within the culture. Yet this one man demonstrated what it meant to be a man of God within that culture. He was young, but he showed essentially what every man is called to do within the culture and the society that God has placed him in. And that is to be a man of God, speaking against the idols around, building up communities, loving people by pointing them to the truth, and giving of ourselves for those around us. So as we come to this last session, we've covered much about what it means to be a Christ-centric man. In fact, you can even argue this last session is appropriately placed because we can't get to this point unless all the other points you're living for Christ. Starting with the heart, we looked at what it means to turn your heart to Christ. First of all, to be a true Christian, to be a true believer. But secondly, to be a man. Contrary to what our culture today says, men can't become women and women can't become men. The Bible defined manhood, not culture. Then after that, we looked at marriage, and we saw what it meant to be a Christ-centric man through learning about our spouses, loving them and leading them. Marriage demonstrates the glory of God, and as we saw, the gospel comes through marriage, and the man and his love for his wife demonstrates this. Then we looked at children, and we saw the importance of, with our kids, and repenting of our own sin, and modeling Christ in the home, loving them, having these worshipful, scripted and unscripted times with our children. Later, last night, we saw the church. We saw the importance of being a man in a church that listens well, that loves well, and also that lives well and leads well. This morning, we saw with work, the dignity of work and what God's created, and the challenge that comes within it, but ultimately the aim, glorifying God. So if you catch the theme within each one of these, it's all about God's glory. It all points to Him, your entire life, every sphere of your life. And that does not change when we understand our place in society and our place in culture. Culture, your place in that hinges on how you are as a husband, how you are with your kids, your church, your work, your heart, ultimately. So in this way, this builds off this. So this morning, what I want to do is I want us to consider our Western culture. And I'm defining Western culture by the previous Christian underlayings that have given birth to most of the West. I know Australia too is influenced by that, technically not in the West. By the way, I've seen a map of Australia before. Chris can validate this. Australia is like the center of the map in Australia. It was really cool. Never thought about that as an American. But anyway, side note. But I want us to consider our Western culture and really look at it and just take a good examination. And I've identified 4 major idols within our Western culture. Now, I know not everybody is from the West. I know we have Asians here, we have Africans here. But the reality is we live here in the West. This is where God has put you. And so even if you're from another nationality, another culture, you're now a missionary over here. That might not be your full-time job, as we've heard. You have other jobs. But God has planted you here, and God has called you here to serve Him and to impact the culture for Christ, for His glory. Now, we could come up with many more idols outside of these 4 idols that I want us to look at. But I think across the board generationally, so old and young, and across the board ethnically, so wherever you're from, these 4 things are the primary ones that have affected us. Perhaps this morning you might realize some of your way of thinking has been impacted these. And these are the things when we're going out to evangelize and to glorify God through our relationships, these are the ones we're up against, that we're called to stand against. So let's get into it. So if you're following along on your paper, we'll walk through. Again, if you miss anything, let me know afterwards. I'll be more than happy to share these notes with you. So when we start understanding idols, we have to understand what are we talking about, firstly, when we use the word idol. Biblically, there are 2 ways to define idols. 2 ways. The first is anything that we give our praise, our worship, or desire towards other than the triune God. For ancient civilizations, of course, this came fashioned into wood and stone. For modern civilizations now, these come as ideas, fashioned into pursuits. So the first way then comes in our praise, our worship, or desire going towards anything other than the triune God. Okay. Secondly, the second way idols come about is to attribute the one true God to something that is not God. All right, here's an example in Exodus 32, 4-5, one we all probably know this from. He took this from their hand, and not he is Aaron, of course, and fashioned it with a graving tool and made it into a molten calf. And they said, "This is your God, O Israel, who brought you up from the land of Egypt." And when Aaron saw this, he built an altar before it, and Aaron made a proclamation and said, "Tomorrow shall be a feast to," who? Not Baal, not to an Asherim, to the Lord. To the golden calf, this was attributed as God, the one true God that saved you. So that's the second way then we see idols come up, both within Scripture and as we'll see within our culture as well. Now within our culture, these 4 idols that I want to look at, I'm going to give you up front and then we'll track through it. The first one is this. We form a different God in Jesus in our minds other than the one of Scripture. And we call him the God of the Bible. When we mention the name Jesus, or if you go to anyone in the street and ask who is Jesus, it's not going to be the Jesus of Scripture. Okay? Secondly, we have the name of God used by the public. Maybe it's politicians, maybe it's by just people in the street, but it doesn't specify which God. Okay, the name of God, you might just hear use the name of God used, but which God? Thirdly, peace and prosperity, I group those together for our purposes here. Peace and prosperity are gods in which our society puts forth to tempt us. And finally, sex is another god that's pursued after in our culture and society. So we're going to take each one, we're going to unpack it a little bit, and then we're going to go to Scripture to equip us to defend, to fight these idols. Okay? All right, firstly, well, let's talk about the true Jesus, the one of Scripture. Our predominant Western culture has crafted a Jesus not of the Bible, but of a self-made, needs-based, therapeutic image. This isn't Christianity, but we call it, if you haven't heard this term before, I'll give you some language to what we call it, moralistic, therapeutic deism. Okay? Now I'm going to unpack that. I'll give you a little time to write that, but I'll unpack it. In other words, here's the example. When you go to somebody and you talk to them about Jesus, it might be a situation to where they say, yeah, I know Jesus. He's there for me in a time of need. I really don't go to church. I really don't follow what he says, but when I struggle with something, I go and pray. So that way he'll help me. Okay? So what is that? Well, you're treating Jesus as more of your therapist than God. Okay? So that's one example that I'm really drawing out from our culture of what we see. Jesus, and for some people, for many people, he may not even be God, but he's just this guy that they'll reference, that they'll run to. At times, Jesus is just treated as a good moral guy who came to make moral people. And most people would agree that, yeah, Jesus is a good man. We should be like him. He's there to show us how to be good and do what's right. So most people, if you go, most people would say, and they would have to deny history to say Jesus just didn't flat exist. But most people would agree that he existed, and he was just some good dude. He was a good moral guy. He came to just give us and show us an example of what it looks like to follow God. Okay? At times, Jesus is also treated as a therapist. I mentioned this already. When someone's in a hard place or struggling, they run to him. They want to feel comforted by him. Maybe it's being made comfortable in their sin or feeling okay with a sinful decision. Maybe it's just all about their happiness, right? Jesus just makes people happy. And the thought behind that is Jesus wants us to be happy no matter what. And no matter from what, I should add. Whatever the source is, Jesus is okay with that as long as you're happy. And that's some of the thinking behind this term, moralistic therapeutic deism. Okay? Now we face a society that has lost the true nature of Christ. And I say lost because, again, when we look at the history of the West, at some point at least there was some understanding of who Christ is from Scripture. But now sin isn't talked about. God's wrath towards sin isn't discussed. Jesus' atonement isn't preached. Jesus' resurrection isn't praised. And his return goes ignored. And that's the predominant situation of our culture. And we get excited when we find a Bible-teaching church in places where there aren't many, right? So those of you who attend Bible Baptist Church, you're excited about that. You love your church. Why? Well, because it's a rarity. It's not the norm in our culture, especially here in Europe. Same with Italy and all over other Bible-teaching churches as well. Because the culture predominantly does not preach and understand the gospel. God's wrath is lost. Now, how has this happened? How has this happened? Well, there are many things and many ways you can answer, but I just want to boil it down to essentially the foundation and the root and take you right to it. It happens because we've strayed from fearing the Lord in the Scriptures. Proverbs 1:7, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instruction. Now, you could flesh out how we've strayed from fearing the Lord in the Scriptures. The gospel, we've not evangelized like we should. We've failed in our churches to hold fast to the truth of Scripture. Men have failed in their marriages and with their children, generationally past. There are many things can be fleshed out. You can spend a whole retreat, just like Josh mentioned earlier, but you could spend a whole retreat on this. But this is what it boils down to. The reality is God has created us to worship. Again, that word worship has been another theme coming out in our retreat. Mankind will always fear something. Mankind will always fear something. The question is, what are you fearing? Are you fearing God or are you fearing man? Proverbs 1 verse 33, but he who listens to me, wisdom, shall live securely and will be at ease from the dread of evil. Wisdom obviously comes from God, points to the Lord. When you fear the Lord, you'll be at ease. You won't fear evil. You won't fear man. But our society is full of fear because it's not feared the one true God. Now we can think of countless examples of fear within our world. There is this major fear of death that really pervades everything around us. You have so many rules, so many regulations, so many laws put in to try to guard against death. Well, what's driving that? It's fear. Now, as Christians, we don't fear death because we know what's after death. It's life. It's life. Now, we don't want to go through the process of dying, right? No one wants to actually feel the pain of that. But death, what's on the other side, we know that we have a greater hope. That's Christ. But our world doesn't have that hope. When we look around, they do not know the true Christ, the one true God. And so for them, they don't know what's on the other side of that. Or they've deceived themselves into thinking they know what's on the other side of death. And that's because they do not fear God. They fear something else. We fear death, sickness, war, the government, and other things. Why? Well, ultimately because our society and our cultures, we look at, they do not fear the Lord. And this is the root of all the social ills, the emotional problems, the societal wrongs. And you look at stats and you see in certain places the suicide rate is so high, depression is so high, anxiety, all these stats point to the fact that our culture has issues and has problems. And then Scripture, without becoming too simplistic, but Scripture points to the fact that at the end of the day, it's not fearing God, but fearing man. However, the Christ-centric man stands firm on God's word in the midst of a culture like this. Christian men hold fast to the fear of the Lord no matter what society says. When they, culture, tell us one thing, then we go to the Scriptures to see what truth is. When we are told to believe a certain way, or support a certain political movement, or we see we're supposed to do certain actions, as Christians, one of the first thing we should do is, well, what does the Bible have to say about this? And that's what we run to first. A Christ-centric man in society doesn't cower or stay silent, but on the flip side, we don't look to start a revolution or a war. Okay, we stand firmly and peacefully upon Scripture, and this is how we move forward in truth. So in a society that's bent against Jesus and that they just don't know who the true Jesus is, and they believe Jesus is this or that, or they have no idea. The goal isn't first to cower and stay silent and just kind of form our own holy huddles and not engage a culture. But on the flip side, our goal is not to start a war or start a revolution or even, first and foremost, solve the issue through political action. Those aren't the things that God has given us through the gospel. As Christians, if we want to see our society change for the better, if we want to see culture begin to pursue after and to know Christ, and not to fear death or not to fear life or suffering or these things and to fear God, it starts with us bringing Christ to bear in their lives. Now you might think, well, Chris, I just don't have a lot of people. I just don't know a lot of people. I look at my life and there's just not a big sphere of influence. How can I have any impact for Christ? How can I have any impact in the kingdom? And here's the deal. God has put you where you're at. God's sovereignty has brought every person you know into your life. God has given you the job, right, that you've been given. God's brought you here to Malta or Italy. And when you start questioning and doubting that you can have any impact in the people around you, you think, maybe I need a bigger platform first. Well, at the end of the day, you're questioning God's providence. Questioning, does God really know what he's doing? Even if you only know one other person in your life, that person God has brought to you to bring the gospel to bear upon them, to evangelize, to bring truth, to bring the scriptures to bear. So recognizing our sphere of influence is key when we're understanding, well, how do we pursue after changing this within our society? What does a Christ-centered man look like? It doesn't look like trying to become the prime minister or the president. It doesn't look like that. It looks like you being faithful where God has put you. All these things, this is why I said this seminar is built on the rest of the ones already. Because when you seek to glorify God in your marriage, or to get married later if you're single, if you seek to glorify God with kids, or if you have kids later, when you seek to glorify God in your church, you're loving your brothers and sisters, when you seek to glorify God in your work, guess what? The Lord is using that to glorify himself, and people are watching. People are seeing there's a stark contrast between your life and the life of somebody next to you who's all about, as we saw with work, all about themselves. Or in their marriage. Their marriage is just a mess. Or their kids, they're not loved and they never see that. But when you're faithful in the little things, God leads that to impact culture. And that's where it starts for us. So that's what we see, this first idol, the fact that the cultures not know the true Jesus. They have set other Jesuses up. There are other Jesuses in people's minds that we're up against. The second idol we see is the name of God. The name of God. This is a little bit different from that first idol, and here's how. The name of God is used in our society, but usually it's not the God of the Bible. Okay, so let me give you some examples here. In America, for example, the name of God is used, but it means different things to different people. People create the meaning in their minds instead of rooting the true God of Scripture. Now, if you go to a prayer breakfast in just kind of this general public setting, you're going to have Muslims there, you're going to have Jews there, you're going to have other religions there, and each one's praying to God, their God. But what the sentiment is we're all praying to the same God. It's all the same God. So in America, there's a mass confusion of this. A lot of ignorance goes into that as well. In places like Italy and Malta, the Roman Catholic Church defines the name of God. Their belief system, of course, involves works, justification by faith, but not justification by faith alone, and therefore is not the true God of the Bible. Leonardo da Caricchio puts out a good work on this, and he says when we look at Roman Catholicism and the fact that they hold up a God that has a standard, and the standard for this God they're holding up says you have to go to Mass to receive grace. Grace is given to you through these physical elements of the Eucharist. Grace comes to you through the sacraments. Is that the God of Scripture? Well, as Christians, our answer is obviously no. That's not the God of Scripture. The God of Scripture says, like Ephesians 2:8, by grace you have been saved through faith, and it's not of yourself, but it's a gift of God, not as a result of works, so that no man may boast. That's the God of Scripture. So then, if that's the case, there's a different God there, though there's a lot of biblical language that is wrapped up in Roman Catholicism. At the heart of it, there's another God. We use the same name, but we mean different things when we talk about grace, when we talk about faith, and even when we talk about God. And that's important for us to understand, especially in our context here in Malta and Italy, because people are Roman Catholic by culture, aren't they? When you go to somebody like, hey, what religion are you? A lot of people are going to say, well, family's Catholic. Maybe they've never even stepped foot in a church other than their baptism, right? But that's what they hold to. Now, they may not understand the fullness of that, the fullness of the doctrine and theology from the Vatican. But as Christians, we have to recognize that they don't understand the true God of Scripture. So what does that lead us to do? Well, it leads us to bring the gospel to bear upon their lives in such a way to where we bring them along. And it may not just happen in that one conversation. We bring them along into truth and into gospel. I know in Italy, I'm imagining the same as here in Malta. The ground's hard. When we talk about evangelizing it and people's understanding it and even desire, it's hard ground. I mean, you can be tilling for a decade and working. And if you see 3 people come into your church in Christ, that might be a great thing, right? But this is, again, the place God has put us. And so we don't judge our measure of success by the results. We judge it by our obedience. Are we staying faithful, staying true to the true God of Scripture, loving people and bringing the gospel to bear? In society, of course, if we ask any person in the street that believe in God, usually the answer is yes. Or maybe it's not God, maybe it's a higher power is the terminology used. Something out there. Something's out there. I know something's out there. Just don't know what. Right? That's the way people respond. But as Christians, we have a mandate to make disciples of all the nations. This involves, of course, baptizing them in the triune God and teaching them all that Jesus commands. The name of the triune God is power. It's power. Proverbs 18:10, the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run to it and is safe. So all over Scripture you see the name of God is powerful. There's might in it. There's strength in it. Why? Well, because it reflects God's character, who God is. But how do people know the name of God? By understanding His character, by understanding His nature, by understanding His works. By us as Christians going forth, preaching and teaching these truths. It's His name that as Christians we identify with. In fact, the very name Christian bears Jesus Christ in it. It's because our identity ultimately is Christ. As Christians, that's who we identify with. So then we ought to aim to make the name of God known, the true name, the triune God, and glorify Him. And we do this, of course, by living our lives according to the Word. Obeying the laws of the land that are in alignment with God. And seeking to have a positive impact upon society through the Lordship of Christ. We live in cultures where, they push you to kind of skirt the system. Right? Just skirt the system. Or maybe even bribery is a thing. Or, there's corruption everywhere. And so the society says, just go along with it. You got to fit into the culture. You got to get somewhere. But as Christians, we don't do that. We don't compromise. When culture tells us to do one thing, we don't compromise upon what truth is, ethics, and these sorts of things because of the name of God, because of who God is, because it's all about Him and His glory, not about us, not about just getting what we want in that moment. So the name of God then is something that's another idol in the culture where people will take the name of God and they mean something totally different when they say that name. Thirdly, peace and prosperity. Peace and prosperity are the primary goals for most people in society. They don't want conflict, they just want money. There's good desires in these goals, of course. We talked about work and earning, but like with anything, these desires can be turned towards evil. We ought to seek the peace. We ought to work to care for us and our families. But when peace and prosperity become the ultimate ends, the ultimate aim, we see that's idolatry, as Josh mentioned a bit ago. Now there are 2 ditches. So just as there are 2 ditches to manhood, okay, that can apply also to this, to pursuing peace and prosperity. One side is laziness and passivity, and the other side is ambition and making those things idols. Continuing in Proverbs, laziness robs men of true peace. You might recognize this passage here from Proverbs 12:24. So we didn't get together and plan this, by the way. It's the Spirit. There are many examples of this, of course, in modern society, isn't there? So when evil rises up to rule, those who are lazy and want to be left alone think they can achieve peace in doing nothing. When you see evil coming up, well, you might grumble about it, right? You might complain about it. You might complain of what's wrong with the culture around you. You might complain about the next generation and those kids. You might complain about the government. You might complain about the landlord. You might complain and grumble about all these things. But the question is actually, what are you doing about it? As a Christ-centric man, we don't fall to discontentment, to grumbling, to complaining. But instead, what do? We pray. We run to the Lord. We lay these issues and these problems that we have, that we see around our world and around our culture, we lay them at the feet of Christ. Proverbs 14, verse 16 says this: a wise man is cautious and turns away from evil, but a fool's arrogant and careless. We pray and we ask the Lord for guidance, for wisdom. What can we do to stand up in these certain situations? And again, depending on who you are, it's going to look completely different. But as Christians, our response is that very thing. We see plenty of examples in history of Christians being passive within the culture. And the result, evil, destruction, death. Think of the Nazi era in Germany. Think of the communist era in Russia. Think of the slavery era in America. And there's many more from every nation we can point to where we see there have been passiveness within the culture. Proverbs 15:19 says, the way of the lazy is a hedge of thorns, but the path of the upright is a highway. So laziness then evidences itself in men regarding prosperity. Men refuse to work or provide for their households. Maybe you just want to depend upon the government to take care of you. Proverbs 6, verse 9. How long will you lie down, O sluggard? When will you arise from your sleep? Proverbs 19:24. The sluggard buries his hand in the dish, but will not even bring it back to his mouth. Or even 21:25. The desire of the sluggard puts him to death, for his hands refuse to work. Now, this application of laziness, this can apply to beyond just your job, or maybe if you have multiple jobs. But it can apply to other areas too. What are you doing in the community? What are you doing with your time? How do you redeem the time God's given you? Because of the fall, men are tempted to neglect work. We see work as bad. But in fact, God created work to be good, as we taught and seen already. But in society, this work understanding applies beyond the job to every area of your life. Right? And how you spend your free time, and how you spend your leisure time, and how you even vacation, these sorts of things. So when we talk about laziness, that's one side of the ditch when it comes to understanding true peace and prosperity from Scripture. But then the other side is, of course, ambition and idolatry, and this one's prevalent as well. When peace and prosperity are pursued as the end goal, evil occurs. They're idolized. When this happens, overwork happens, wrong prioritization occurs. You get burnout. You get stress. By the way, stress, you'll never find that word in Scripture, but what it is, it's anger and anxiety combined. That's what stress is. So anger and anxiety together, wrapped up in one thing. So when you get stressed, what are you? Well, you're angry and anxious at the same time. That is a key to something. Our emotions, by the way, maybe you can describe our emotions like lights on the dashboard of your car, if you have a car, right? A light pops up, and okay, there's something wrong with my engine when that light comes on. That's what our emotions are. When you're angry, when you're anxious, when you're burnt out, when you're just done, right? Those are signs of things going on in your heart. Those are signs that should warn you
that tell you, I need to run to Christ. I need to run to His Word. I might not be in control of the situation, but I need to turn to Him and trust Him and find my joy in Him. Ambition, idolatry also leads to potentially wars as well. We see in Proverbs addresses this, Proverbs 15, verse 26, evil plans are an abomination to the Lord, but pleasant words are pure. And in Proverbs 21:5, the plans of the diligent lead surely to advantage, but everyone who's hasty surely comes to poverty. The way to combat ambition, idolatry is to recognize God has given you every cent you have. God has given you every piece of clothing you own. God has given you every crumb that you eat. All of it belongs to God. You're simply a steward of it. Be content with what you have. Work hard, yes. Engage in society, yes. Take advantage of your time when you're not actually working and making a paycheck, but give of yourself in various ways to others. This applies, if you got a family, take your kids out. Go play with them. Go get involved in activity with them. If you don't have a family, if you're single, how can you help the society around you? What are some areas you can serve in, that you can volunteer in? Open up these areas to where you're able to engage further in community and society as a Christian. Be able to bring Christ into areas that maybe others haven't. All right, so those are the first three idols. The final idol here, we'll talk a little longer in this one, is sexuality. Okay. What I want us to do is essentially to dig into the Proverbs. So go ahead and turn to Proverbs chapter 5. And as we walk through Proverbs chapter 5, we're going to unpack what Proverbs has to teach us, especially about this idol. This is one that, given statistics, at least that are out there, men in this very room are struggling with, are dealing with. So this is one as Christians that we see attacks us, is used as a tool to bring us down. But as men of God, how do we approach it? How do we deal with it? And how do we live in a society that's very charged sexually? Well, by way of introduction, first, our Western culture is highly charged with sexuality. We see that everywhere. Movies, advertisements, clothing. We're right outside of a beach. If you walk out there, some people don't have much clothes on, right? It's everywhere. The promotion of sex is something that culture pushes upon us. Sexual promiscuity, prostitution, fornication, pornography, masturbation, lust, all of these things are easily accessible and seek to captivate men within society. Christian men, though, have the call to be devoted to one woman for the rest of his life on earth. What does this mean? Well, outside of the obvious of not having an affair or cheating on her, this means not giving yourself over, even in your mind, to other women. Now, for single men, marriage ought to be pursued much earlier in life than what society says. Right? You struggle. Most men, if you're not called and given that calling to singleness, most men have a sexual desire. If you have that sexual desire, 1 Corinthians 7 leads us to understanding that, well, you ought to get married. But society would say, well, hold on. You need to get a house first. You need to get a car first. Maybe once you're in your mid-30s, you can start thinking about marriage. But this is an issue. Because what usually happens in almost every situation I've counseled is that men who are putting off getting married are involved in pornography. They're involved in masturbation. They're involved even with prostitution sometimes. Because those sexual desires are left unchecked. They're uncontrolled. They're not turning to Christ, and they're being overburdened by it. Now, marriage isn't the final answer, of course, to sexuality and to dealing with those sexual things, but it helps. That's what 1 Corinthians 7 says. It helps. Proverbs 5, then, as we get into Proverbs 5, unpacks how do we address sexual morality in the culture that's prevalent with it? And one of the things you're going to notice in Proverbs 5 is, and then into Proverbs 6 is, this is out in the public. This is very open, right? Which leads to private sin. Public leads to private sin. Proverbs 5, let's read the first 3 verses there. My son, be attentive to my wisdom, incline your ear to my understanding, that you may keep discretion, and keep your lips, or in your lips may guard knowledge. For the lips of a forbidden woman drip honey, and her speech is smoother than oil. What do we see in these first 3 verses? Well, we see the warning given to us. Sexual morality is very enticing. It's very enticing, and it seems fulfilling. It tempts with pleasure, with fulfillment. That's what those first 3 verses, honey is sweet, right? Smoother than oil. Like these are delicacies. These are things that are enjoyable. So, sexual morality is very enticing. Seems fulfilling. But as we continue, verse 4, but in the end, she is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a 2-edged sword. Her feet go down to death. Her steps follow the path to Sheol. She does not ponder the path of life. Her ways wander, and she does not know it. Notice it says, and she does not know it. Sexual immorality always ends up in destruction. It destroys the man, certainly, right? That's obvious. But it also destroys the woman. She's on the path of destruction as well. When we look at our world, especially pornography and prostitution, we see these things bring men down to death. But also the woman is being brought down to death as well. It's destructive. It eats your soul. We'll read a bigger chunk here, Proverbs 5, 7 through 14 as we continue. And now, O sons, listen to me and do not depart from the words of my mouth. Keep your way far from her, and do not go near the door of her house, lest you give your honor as others, and your years to the merciless. Lest strangers take their fill of your strength, and your labors go to the house of a foreigner. And at the end of your life you groan, when your flesh and body are consumed. And you say, how I hated discipline, and my heart despised reproof. I did not listen to the voice of my teachers, or incline my ear to my instructors. I am at the brink of utter ruin in the assembled congregation. So not only are we called to avoid sexual immorality, but we are called to not even go near it. Don't go near it. Like a deadly snake, proximity will bite us. We are called to keep far away. Don't let it sit near you. If you do, you're setting yourself up for failure. Why is this? Well, it's because sexual temptation, this is a type of temptation that's so different than other sins. Paul talks about this also in 1 Corinthians. Sexual sin is something that is easily used, and once it gets its grip upon you, it's hard to shake. It's hard to fight it off, to let loose. When I was young, I struggled with pornography. That was an issue that I had to walk through and deal with and repent. But it was difficult. It was hard. It required a lot of dying to self, a lot of counsel, a lot of running to the Lord. It's not something that, sadly for me, didn't happen overnight. I had to pursue hard after Christ and look to Him through the fight. Because sexual sin, once it gets its grip on you, it's hard. It's hard to push away. But it's not impossible. And that's the power of the gospel. The power of the gospel as a Christian man enables you to overcome it. And that's the beauty, because we serve a God who redeems, who saves. So take heart. If you've fallen into it, if it has its grip upon you, you don't have to keep letting it own you. Right? Romans 6, stop submitting to it. Run to Christ and look to Him. But because of the influence, because of the strength of it, this is why in Proverbs it says, don't even go near it. Stay away from it. It says here within this passage we read, as you fall, you give your strength away as well. Now, what is the strength? Well, the strength can be 2 things. One, physically, your physical strength, right? It could be your ability, your endurance. Of course, you have medicine given today to help ED, Viagra, these sorts of things. Why is that so prevalent in our culture? Because men have given their strength away. They've engaged in sexual morality and given their strength away. It could be the things God has given you, the resources. Your money is consumed to prostitutes or to OnlyFans. Cost of a divorce. Many other things too as well. And so you give your strength away when you engage in these things. So it's a warning here that Proverbs gives to us of lasting consequences. Proverbs 5, as we continue, verses 15 through 20. Drink water from your own cistern, flowing water from your own well. Should your springs be scattered abroad, streams of water in the streets, let them be for yourself alone and not for strangers with you. Let your fountain be blessed, and rejoice in the wife of your youth, a lovely deer, a graceful doe. Let her breast fill you at all times with delight, being intoxicated always in her love. Why should you be intoxicated, my son, with a forbidden woman, and embrace the bosom of an adulteress? So here, as this teaching continues, we see that the analogy of water is used. Now, why is water used? Well, it's the very life source of every person, isn't it? You need water to survive. You don't go sharing your drinking water with strangers because you need it. Now, day and age where water is so easily accessible here, somewhat of this illustration is lost on us. But at that point in time, they didn't have as easy access to water as we did. You would build out your own cistern, hold your own water. You wouldn't just freely give it to the neighborhood. You needed it. Likewise, this illustration is used here. It's foolish to give of yourself to other women, whether that's in reality or on the screen. Your waters are being dispersed abroad. Instead, give your strength to your wife, or reserve it for your future wife. This blesses your marriage, grows your intimacy with your wife, brings about a more peaceful and joyful marriage. You get excited about your wife's breasts, right? That's what the scripture says here, not some fake liquid-filled porn stars. Let what one woman God gave you bring you satisfaction and exhilaration, not anybody else. And when that happens, you're cultivating the ground of your marriage. You're cultivating intimacy in your marriage. You're loving your wife. You're building her up. And if you're single, then you're holding that and you're reserving that for your wife. Because if not, those images that you look at on the screen, the women that you're with, the things you do in your mind, and when you get married, you build out certain expectations that are just, quite frankly, evil and from the pits of hell. Those images pop up in your mind when you're intimate with your wife, when you're with her. So you have to constantly fight against those things. You have to kill and mortify this sin. So this is why Proverbs is just so blunt about what do you do with sexual sin. God is so merciful to us, isn't he? He's so graceful that he gives us the ability to enjoy what he's created. Sex is designed by God. It's a good thing, right? So don't go the opposite and say, oh, sex is bad. No, God's created it. But he's given it to us to enjoy in the confines of marriage with one woman. And there's joy that comes from that. And God's merciful to us in that. But sin easily takes that desire and warps it, twists it, and pushes you to find out something else. And what happens? It ends in destruction. Always. Always. Proverbs 5 continues, says in verses 21 through 23, for man's ways are before the eyes of the Lord, and he ponders all his paths. The iniquities of the wicked ensnare him, and he's held fast in the cords of his sin. He dies for lack of discipline, and because of his great folly, he is led astray. This warning culminates into the fact that the Lord knows your heart. You might be able to hide your heart. You might be able to hide your deeds, but God knows them. God sees. Your own sin, then, will be your chains. We live in a private world to where you can sin greatly and a lot within the own confines of your house or within your bedroom and no one would ever know. But the Lord sees, and the Lord knows. A sin destroys your life and brings you to ruin. And it will destroy your marriage, your children, your friendships, your job, everything we've looked at this whole retreat. Sexual sin destroys. Now you might think, well, it's just me involved with it. It's just harming me. But that's just a lie. That's not true. I hope one of the takeaways you have from this retreat is the fact that every person is an influencer, right? We saw that last night, or yesterday rather, with Luke's message. Every person influences. And so even sin impacts the church and your family. Even if they're not seeing you do it. It has ripple effects beyond what you can even imagine and comprehend. Because sin does that. The roots of sin take root and sprout things that you don't even see, that you're blind to within your life. So Proverbs 5 points us to this. Proverbs 7, just quickly jumping forward, I'm not going to read it for time's sake, but just in summary, I want you to go back and read Proverbs 7. We see in Proverbs 7 another illustration, and this time there's the picture. There's a movie scene, if you want to call it that, that Solomon is painting here. And in this scene, you see that this guy is going and he's engaging in sexual morality. The whole scene demonstrates the temptation and what the temptation looks like. But we see in the first 5 verses there that the way to fight sexual sin is through treasuring the Word of God. And this means keeping them always before your mind. A good thing to understand, to latch onto, you need to have easier access to the Word than you do to sexual morality. You need to have it at your fingertips. That same phone that you can look things on for pornography is the same phone you should have a Bible app there and quickly go to when you're tempted. The Word will strengthen you to fight temptation, resist Satan, and to fight the system of the world. And the culture pushes sexual temptation upon you. Run to the Word. The remaining part in Proverbs 7, 6 through 23, we see the story as an example of how temptation takes root. Again, notice it begins with proximity. That's a key. That's a theme here. Proximity is something you ought to pay attention to. When you are close to it, it attacks. And once you begin to indulge in it, it's difficult to pull out. So then, along with keeping the Word of God near, there's wisdom in putting up barriers to keep you far from it. Now, the root of it is your own idolatry and your own lust. How do you do that? Well, when you're satisfied in Christ, you're going to fight sexual immorality. But there's wisdom in putting up barriers to not let yourself fall and be able to resist Satan. Right? If it's on a computer or phone, don't be on it alone. There's software that you can get that tracks the things that you look up and has accountability partners that you can bring in on these things. So, if you look something up, they'll send an email to your accountability partner, and then you'll have a discussion, and you're accountable to somebody. You have to be honest with what you're doing. The main benefit to that is your sin's not private anymore, right? And when our sin's not private anymore, there's shame that tends to push us to stopping. Do I really want that guy to know I'm doing this right now? And then that gives you the instant of, no, I don't. Let me run to the Word of God. And it buys you that extra time, okay? So there's benefit to that. Maybe, and again, this is in line with Jesus in the Sermon on the Mount. When you're dealing with lust, what does he say? Well, cut your hand off, pluck your eye out. He doesn't physically mean that, obviously, right? But that's metaphor saying do whatever it takes to kill lust. Maybe you need to get a dumb phone and not a smartphone, okay? Now, I know, that's how you live life today and that kind of thing, but there are ways around it. And for your own purity's sake, it's worth it. All the inconveniences that will bring, it's worth it. Do whatever it takes, not put yourself in proximity to sexual morality. If it's girls on the street, If you can't go out here and, resist looking at the beach and, checking the girls out and lusting after them, don't walk that way. Okay? Walk a different way. You might say, well, it's 2 miles out of the way. Is that not worth guarding yourself from sexual immorality? Plus, you'll get a bigger workout. All right? Grow your body. If it's social media, get off of it. You don't need it. Stop doom scrolling. Delete your accounts. Is that not worth guarding yourself from sexual morality? If it's a coworker, switch positions. Find another job. Again, that sounds drastic, but is it not worth protecting yourself from sexual morality? Of course. Sexuality is the easiest way. Sexuality is the easiest way to become a Christ-centric bringing. That's a misprint. Sexuality is the easiest way to bring a Christ-centric man down. Satan in the society aims to make men passive through fulfilling their sexual desires sinfully. The way to keep men at bay and allow evil to go forth is through sex. But as Christians, we're called to stand in truth against sexual morality and live boldly in society. It's a tactic that the evil one uses. When you fall to sexual morality, when you're plagued with the shame and the guilt that brings, you're so focused on yourself, you're so focused on that you're not focused on the people around you. You're not focused on, I need to bring the gospel to bear on this guy. Let me bring Christ up in this conversation. You're not focused on how do we redeem our society in the time to bring Christ to bear upon culture, because you're distracted with these other things. And so it's a tactic Satan uses as well to bring you down. So then, as we close, the Christ-centric man society seeks to kill these idols in our culture. There are many. Again, this isn't the totality of them, but these are certainly the more prominent ones that we face daily, day in and day out. We see when we're talking about the right Jesus, the right Christ, we stand boldly on truth, bringing the gospel to bear. When we talk about the one God, the true God, we make that evident and known from the Word. From peace and prosperity, we examine these things biblically and pursue after it a right order of loves. And then with sexuality, we stand firm upon the Bible. We enjoy godly sex with our wives. If you're married, if you're not married, then you enjoy the thought of waiting. You wait for that woman that God's going to bless you with and push into Christ in the meantime. If you fall into sexual morality, repent, believe, trust Christ, and know the power of the gospel will redeem. And that's how we close this retreat, the power of the gospel. We started it with looking at the gospel and looking at how it transforms our hearts from death to life. And the gospel, not only does it transform us from death to life, but as we've also seen, it makes us holy once we are alive. As Christians, it sanctifies us. It draws us into the image of Christ. And then one day, as we've heard already, we will be completely made sanctified and holy. We will be glorified. Glorification will take place upon our death, and we appear before Christ. And so as we leave this place, again, spend a short time together, but the truths that we have talked about and given to you, that you've received, will extend way beyond the time here. So I encourage you, take some time. You have the whole afternoon and evening. Some of us will be on a plane. Others of you have other things I'm sure you'll be doing. But take some time to reflect over this whole time that you've had. Tomorrow, take some time as well. Ponder, meditate upon those scriptures. Refer back to those. Incorporate it into your prayer and Bible reading time, some of the passages and the things you've looked at. Especially the areas that the Spirit has pushed upon you and pressed upon you or revealed sin. Repent. Trust Christ. Go to your pastor. Talk with them. Ask, if nothing else, for prayer to deal with some of the things you're struggling with, to be strengthened where you need strength, to be encouraged where you need to be encouraged as well. Let me close this time and this whole weekend in prayer. Father, your mercy and your grace is so evident upon our lives. Lord, you have given us this life. You have given us this breath. You've given us the high calling of imitating Christ and looking like him in our lives. But you've also given us the Spirit to help us, to strengthen us, to work out our salvation, to look like Christ. Lord, you have given us the commands and the means to achieve those commands. And so to you be the glory and the honor and the praise, Father. Lord, this whole retreat, may it be a sweet aroma that's been offered up to you. God, may your name have been glorified in many, many ways, in many conversations, many thoughts and hearts. And as we leave here, Father, may we continue to honor you and glorify you for what you have given to us in your word. Strengthen these men in this room, Father. May generations be impacted as they leave here, loving their wives, loving their kids, loving their future families, loving their jobs and their church and the culture, as you have called us to love. Father, embolden us where we need to be emboldened. Pull us out of shame and guilt where we need to be pulled out of that. God, strengthen us where we are weak. Give us words where we need them. Give us right thoughts and the ability to take captive evil thoughts. Father, grow our love and our desire and passion for Christ. Thank you. We worship you and praise you in his name. Amen.